Hi, I'm excited. Look what just turned up. Thank you very much. Oh, I go full screen here. Thank you very much. Blackmagic Design, they sent me this DaVinci Resolve speed editor. Check it out. Oh, it's a Bobby Dazzler. I've been thinking about getting one of these, but yeah, I was talking about it on Twitter or something, and they saw it and they said, hey, do you want one? Oh, yeah, beauty. All right. So here it is. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I'll have to do like a separate video on this. So this won't be a video. Oh, that knob. Oh, that knob. Oh, just the feel and the weight in it and just the velocity of it. Oh, it's beautiful. Thing of beauty. And these keys are absolutely gorgeous. This is not Feel-O-Vision, unfortunately, but these keys feel absolutely first class, like 1980s IBM first class. Oh, it's beautiful. So anyway, this is supposed to speed up your editing, because if you don't know, I do my, where is it? Here you go. I use DaVinci Resolve. I can't remember the exact date. Probably been using it for like a year now. I think I switched over from Magic's Vegas, which used to be Sony Vegas, and then I've used other packages before that. And everyone was, yeah, I had problems. So everyone was raving about DaVinci Resolve and everything. So I tried it and it suited my workflow. I really liked it. So I've been using that ever since. It only took me a couple of videos to get into it. Yeah, but I've been using DaVinci Resolve for all of my stuff. I even use it for like editing the amp hour occasionally, just doing audio editing, because it's just, I'm familiar with the workflow and stuff. Anyway, I've been using the free version up until now. I've been meaning to get the full version, but thankfully this one actually came with the license. So this video is not going to be about using this lovely speed editor, because I'll have to try that later, and I'll do a video on, does this make, you know, how much of a difference does it make, just as someone who doesn't do, like, I just do YouTube editing. I just join clips together, you know, put a couple of overlays in, and Bob's your uncle kind of thing. Will that speed up my workflow? I don't know. Because if you don't know, like, I think getting this, like, I was looking at getting one of these, buying one of these, because it's only like, I think maybe $100, $150 more than just buying the software license for DaVinci Resolve. So, yeah, I thought, you know, rather than just buy the license, I thought I might as well get one of these for not much more. So anyway, check out, it depends on sales in your country and all sorts of things like that. Anyway, I do have, so this video is going to be me testing out the new licensed version, which actually supports GPU rendering, because all the stuff I do, the only real major difference between the, at least for my use anyway, for the free version as opposed to the paid version of DaVinci Resolve editor, is that it supports, the paid version supports GPU rendering. So all my rendering and everything else, and also I believe just actually, actually playing the video like this and stuff, does not go through the GPU. So those who are curious to know what machine I run here, I'm running an AMD Ryzen 9 5900X. So it's actually quite a beastie processor. Like in terms of, you know, it's really pretty good. I think it's got a pass mark of 36,000 or so, 40,000 or 36,000, something like that. Anyway, it's quite a beastie processor. And my graphics card, I've just recently upgraded to this. I've got an RTX 2060. None of that new modern fangled 3060 rubbish. I've got an RTX 2060, so I thought, you know, it does make a difference when I'm using Handbrake, my X and X264, which is what Handbrake's like, the shell around it. So I use that for transcoding. Now I actually, when I get my videos on my card, I do actually transcode them now. I never used to, but it was taking up too much space for the raw footage, which I keep all my raw footage. So I actually, I transcode those with Handbrake. I've got a script which actually does all that for me. I just drag the files in, boom, and 10 minutes later it's all transcoded. So I work on those. So anyway, will an RTX 2060 make any difference to my rendering? Now, rendering is not a big deal for someone like me. Once I've edited my thing, it's all about the editing. You know, once I've edited it, I just set it to render, and who cares? Like, you know, it's relatively quick. Who cares if it takes an hour to render? I go off and do something else. It's not a big deal, right? Now, when with just the CPU, that I'm doing at the moment, I think, don't quote me on this, it depends on the type of footage that you're actually rendering, but most of my videos are 1080p. Okay, so I shoot them in camera at 1080p, unless I'm doing a teardown like this one, which the teardowns I shoot in 4K. I'm shooting this one actually in oddball. I'm screen capturing this at 2K. So this is going to, I can't remember the last time I did a 2K video. Anyway, I'm going to edit this in DaVinci Resolve after this. Anyway, I'm waffling too much. DaVinci Resolve, using CPU only, rendering 1080p footage, it renders at 5 times real speed or more. It's really quick. So if I've got a 30-minute video, it renders it in 5 minutes. Like, it's really quick. The only thing it's really slow on is 4K footage, which this particular one, that's why I've got this project open here. I'm going to do a test render with CPU. I'm going to time it for doing CPU only. Then I'm going to install the new DaVinci Resolve software that I've got. Thank you very much. And I'm going to, hopefully, I assume it just magically enables the GPU, and I'm going to render the exact same footage using GPU to see what the speed improvement. Now, on the CPU, 4K footage, it generally renders about real time. So a 30-minute 4K video will take about 25 to 30 minutes to render. I think it's slightly faster with the GPU. But as I said, it's not a big deal, but it's handy, right? So that's the only, really, I think the only major improvement I'm going to get out of having the licensed software. But I was going to buy it anyway because I wanted, why? It's better, and I use it. I want to pay for the software that I use. I've been using this free version for far too long. So anyway, yeah, so ironically, they gave me a free version of this. So thank you very much, DaVinci. Anyway, yeah, so this is a mix. This project is a mix of, it's, how long is it? Okay, 1946, so 20 minutes long, right? So this is a 20-minute 4K, but it actually has a mix of, I believe this footage here I shot is 1080p, so the talking head stuff, but all the teardown stuff is in 4K. So it's a mix of source material here. So yeah, that'll be an interesting thing. I will render it using my normal thing. So this is my finished project. I uploaded this video, so I'm going to render it again. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to render this to my solid state drive. All the source files are coming from my NAS, which is downstairs. But trust me, the source material, it makes no difference to the rendering speed that the source material comes from my NAS. Trust me, I've tested this, okay? And it really makes no difference that I'm writing to a solid state drive. I've also tested that. But for those people who like to bitch about it, I'm right into my solid state drive, okay? So I'm going to, so this is CPU rendering, okay? This is how I'd normally render. I'd usually use MP4. I'm going to use H.264. I might do H.265 as well, so I might run this process twice. I think I'm going to start to go to H.265 now, because it is slightly smaller file size and supposedly higher quality. I don't see it in the videos that I do, just the talking head videos and the screen capture videos. They compress perfectly. Like, I just don't see it. So all that, it really doesn't make much of a difference to my content. Anyway, 4K footage, okay, 3840 by 2160, 29.97 frames per second. I never use best. As I said, I can do least, okay? With my footage, it makes no difference whether I render with best video quality or least. You won't see a difference for my content, for the talking head stuff, or for, but if I'm doing like an outdoors video, I just rendered one a couple of months ago where I was doing downhill mountain biking and stuff, right? That matters, okay? It really matters a lot to get the right quality and all that sort of jazz. Anyway, I will typically go low, okay, like this. So I will typically go low like that for my 4K, okay? So I'm going to start this now and we'll time it. I will put it over here and I will render, okay? Go. Go, you little beauty. You can see that it may be a bit slower because I'm doing screen capture in the background. I don't know how that impacts it, but you can see like it's getting down to about 22 minutes there, right? 20, right? So it's already rendering faster than real time. Okay, 17 minutes. Oh no, but this is rendering. No, at the moment, it knows it's rendering the 1080p footage, so it's going to get slower later when it switches to the 4K footage. Anyway, I'll get back to it. And here we go. It's about to finish. 99% in 16 minutes and 21 seconds. And you can see before, it actually did an 18:45. So I don't know what the change is. Maybe I was doing something else in the background. I could be watching videos, doing whatever, maybe, and I was sucking the CPU. Now I'm going to do H.265. I've changed the file name. Low here. Let's add to render queue and let's go. Should be a little bit slower. It takes, you know, a bit more resources to encode H.265, I believe. So there you go. That was 18 minutes and 14 seconds. So it took a couple of minutes longer. So we've got a reference there. If you are curious about the file sizes, the H.264 was 2.57 gig. And the H.265 was 1.93 gig. So smaller file size, both on the low quality setting, which, trust me, is not low for my content. And I'll do a 1080p screen capture video here just for the other extreme. So this is super quick. You can see before it did it in 4 minutes and 50 seconds. And this is a almost 29 minute long video. So let's try that again. So H.264 low, let's go. What? There it goes. No, it won't take 1 hour and 2 hours and no, 20 minutes. 11 minutes. Would you believe 9 minutes? Would you believe 7? It'll come down. Yeah, 6, 5. Yeah. It's only going to take like 4 minutes. So as I said, like even with the CPU version, the free version of DaVinci Resolve for 1080p content, and it's a bit faster because this is screen capture stuff. So everything's pixel perfect. So pixels don't change from scene to scene except for my talking head and whatever's happening there with the cursor or whatever. So yeah, it's but my regular 1080p content, as I said, it's like 5 times real time or something. It's very quick. So yeah, I don't have a speed problem with the free version on 1080p. It's really for 4K stuff that I'm really looking forward to. 7 minutes, 7 seconds for H.265 compared to 4 minutes 28 for H.264 there. If you're concerned about the file size, 419 meg for H.264 and 344 meg for H.265. Now, I'm going to install my new license and hopefully it just auto-magically works and does faster GPU rendering. I'm not sure if I have to set in the settings or whatnot. I don't think so. Yes, you can see here that the NVIDIA GeForce it detects it, but it's not enabled or whatever. So I've got to find a way to put in my code. Okay, for some reason, after all this, my camera has died. My Ava Media HDMI capture card, I don't know. I'm going to have to sort that out later, so sorry you can't see my ugly mug anymore. Anyway, I couldn't figure out how to install the serial number. I don't like, and the registration code. I don't think it's actually possible. So I had to, like in the free version, so I had to actually uninstall it. And then reinstall the complete one from scratch and go through the website and register and all that sort of jazz. It kept all my projects, even though I did back them up. It seemed to have kept them just fine. So I don't know. Yeah, excellent. All right, so I'm assuming, and there's some new stuff over here, as you might see. So H.264, I'm going to call it GPU low. I'm not going to touch any of that stuff. I'm sure that stuff's new, right? Wasn't there before? Am I imagining that? Anyway, add to render queue. Okay. Yeah, let's go. All right, render. And rendering in progress. I assume it's just going to automatically use the GPU. 12 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh yeah, now we're talking. There you go. No, because it's doing the 1080p stuff at the moment. I will reserve judgment until it's done. It took 18 minutes before, but anyway, I'll get back to you. All right, it's about to finish. Look. 13 minutes. How do I get rid of this? Anyway, you saw it 13 minutes and 12 seconds. I'm very disappointed in that. That's, yeah, okay, it's quicker. And it was using 100%. I'll bring this in here. But it was actually using, I'll put up a screenshot. You can see it was using 100% of the GPU here. But it was using some shared GPU memory. So I've got my RTX 2060. only has 6 gig of memory. And everyone's going to go, oh, that's not enough, that's the reason. The RTX 2060 sucks. You got to get a 3060. Right? God, I expected better. Okay. Like, is it that because it's using it was using like 2 gig or something, or 3 gig of shared GPU memory there. So I did actually switch off my screen capture, because of my screen capture, my XSplit software does actually use the GPU. It tells me it's currently using, in recording this, about 17% of the GPU. Well, we can see it there. Yeah, you can see it's using 17% there. So I did actually switch it off during this. So it wasn't that. And I wasn't doing anything else. It was like, just like, what? Okay, 13 minutes. Okay, it's quicker. Great. But not radically different. Okay, I'll try X265. See if that makes a difference. And there it is running there. It's almost done. I just fired XSplit back up, and it's yeah, once again, like 17% of that GPU will be taken by the video capture. But anyway, there you go. Looks like it's finished. Yep, it's finished. There you go. So it definitely does. It is using GPU rendering now, because before it was using no GPU and it was using like, 90% CPU or whatever. Now it's using, a couple of percent CPU and all GPU. So it's definitely doing the business. But yeah, I don't know whether or not that's because I've got a RTX 2060. There's a 2040 now. And sorry, a 4060 or whatever is the latest. Is it? I don't know. Is it because I don't have enough dedicated GPU memory and it's then has to go outside, or is that, I don't know, it's using some of that shared because that's doing the decoding or the other screen updating. I don't know what. But yeah, anyway, so I'm disappointed. That took 14 minutes and 44 seconds compared to 18 minutes and 14 before, and 16:21. You can see the times up there. So really, that's disappointing. I expected better from a 2060 to me is still a fine card. Okay, I just got it secondhand on eBay. Got it cheap, but geez, like I expected better. Sure, okay, it's not the latest whiz-bang 4060 or whatever with, 16 gigs of memory. But, yeah, I expected better, so that's kind of disappointing. Still, it is better than what I had, so, yeah, okay, thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to try the Kano map one again, H264. So this is 1080p screen capture, so this is as easy peasy as it gets. So we've got 4 minutes 28 to beat. And 240, 230. This, so my content in this one doesn't change. So it looks like it's going to do this in half the time. Yeah, I don't think, there's the odd overlay in this, but like nothing, odd text like you just saw there, but pretty much nothing else. So, and by the way, like I don't do any color rendering. I don't do any of that, fancy whiz-bang editing stuff. I simply join clips together. I, maybe tweak some audio levels here or there. I add a couple of text overlays or image overlays, and that's it. I don't do anything fancy at all. I just discovered over here, there's a drop-down box that was set to auto. The encoder used was auto, not NVIDIA. So that is interesting. So it uses so I presume that in the native, like the auto mode, which would have got native, right? I think, or was it native? I can't remember. Anyway, the native mode, it's using the DaVinci Resolve one, but it's doing it on the GPU. But in this case, the NVIDIA, but there is an encoder core inside the NVIDIA chipset. But you saw that on the usage graph that it was actually using the encoder built in. So it's interesting. Anyway, I just did the Kano map one in 2 minutes 30 seconds for the H265 using that NVIDIA one. So now I'm going to go back to the 4K one and do that again, see if it makes a difference using the NVIDIA encoder option. Okay, so H264 encoder NVIDIA like this. Let's choose our low quality down here. I won't change anything else. I've got NVIDIA in the file name. And let's run that again. 13 minutes, 59 seconds. Well, that's interesting. That's actually more than the 13 minutes and 12 seconds using that non-NVIDIA, like the native option or whatever. So, yeah, there you go. That made actually no difference. Surprising, huh? And it looks like the H.265 is not going to be any quicker on that, unfortunately. So there you have it. I mean, we're talking, yeah, there's been an improvement with this registered version with GPU rendering, you know, like 25% or something like that. Although with the H.264, what was it, double or something? It was twice as fast, so it halved the speed. But yeah, as far as the 4K stuff, which is the one I had trouble with, so yeah, not a massive improvement, but worthwhile. But once again, if you've got a bigger, beefier graphics card, more modern than my RTX 2060 with 6 gigs of RAM, then maybe, yeah, you're going to get a better improvement. One thing I want to test, though, is can it actually play things quicker, because it was like stuttered and things like that. It was kind of annoying. It was really hard to reproduce, actually. In fact, no, it's doing the same thing. Oh no, there we go. I'm just pressing my space bar to start, stop. No, it's got a similar thing. I was hoping this would be quicker. Bounces light up and then. Anyway, I won't be able to tell you that until I actually do like a full edit on the thing. Yeah, but it was editing 4K was rather. Like, sometimes it was smooth as silk. Others, it was jerky and really frustrated me and stuff like that. And I've tweeted about that a few times. So I presume that the GPU stuff will fix that, because it'll do like the GPU, you know, everything on the screen is happening, like the preview and all that. It's all happening in the GPU. So, yeah, anyway, so that remains to be seen. But anyway, so if I call up like with overlay text, there it is. Boom. No problem. That white circle. Yeah, it comes on. Anyway, there you go. So not a massive improvement with the H.264. I'm sorry my camera fails and you failed and you can't see my ugly mug anymore. But anyway, there you go. Thoughts and comments down below. It's an improvement, but yeah, I guess I need a better graphics card. Catch you next time.